we might have, and then moving up to that ridge and pretty much just repeat, blow up Semtexville, and blow up Tropicaville while you clear out Semtexville. Once Semtexville is clear, Tropicaville should be pretty much blown to pieces, and then you can drive in and assault that.
How do we coordinate our vehicles? You just keep bringing them up with us as we move?
I would actually suggest you guys, section leaders, that you put that you have one fire team handle the vehicles and one fire team handle the fighting. So you have a dismounted fire team and your vehicles acting as 2 extra fire teams. Simply because we won't be able to dismount. We'll have to stay mobile in order to make this work. So I actually think we should do all of this pretty much mounted and just dismount right in front of houses and have one fire team per squad moving out, clearing out houses while the vehicles provide security.
And what kind of vehicles are we using?
We only have Humvees. That's the problem.
Have they got mounted heavy weapons on them?
Yeah, they got 50 cals.
That's good. That's decent.
Yeah, so we're going to be using those as extra fire teams, basically. The only problem is if we meet a heavy MG or an RPG with those, we're fucked. But that's my basic plan right now. That's just use those vehicles to get some speed and some firepower into those targets, because otherwise we won't have much in the sense of firepower, since we're only a light infantry squad with Humvees.
So while we're on the subject, I have a question, and it's kind of about squad leading and the nuances and the stick handling of trying to have a 2IC help you. The way I found it works best in Arma is if you're section leading, if you have a 2IC that really does most of the mechanics of telling the section what to do, it really frees up the section leader for being able to communicate and tell the the CO what's going on all the time, where you are, where the enemy contacts are.
Yes,
and having said that, what's the best way to implement that in game?
Since this time you'll be lucky enough to know who your fire team leaders are, you can go ahead and contact them now and tell them what you expect of them.
Okay.
And in other missions, I usually just go about it by writing my fire team leaders in group chat and say, I actually expect you to make sure that we have security 360 degrees all the time and coordinate with each other, because I'm not gonna fucking waste time with that, because I'm busy enough with the platoon CO. And you can actually do that a lot in Danish Army. We call it the alphaing, because 2IC is usually call sign 1 alpha, for instance. So yeah, you pretty much leave the squad leading to the 2IC or to the team leaders, and then squad leaders should basically just be saying, okay, team leaders, this direction, this formation, and they should have to figure that out.
And there's different pro words for handing that off to your 2IC, and if you say it the same way each time, they kind of take a cue that that's my turn. It's my time to take over the section and be directing the section.
You'll have to agree with your fire team leader what that should be.
Yeah. Castle, you up for
that? I don't know. Maybe.
But it's also why I think it's weird that US Army doesn't issue their team leaders with the 148s as well, so they know what's going on in the platoon, because then they can pretty much be ready before the squad leader even gives their order. They can, the squad leader can get an order. Okay, first squad attack compound number 1, and then the fire team leaders can pretty much be, okay, guys, get ready for assault. Then the squad leader comes in. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this point. I want you to take that, and so forth. They can pretty much have a mental plan already before you even show up.
Good.
But yeah, if you can make that work, it would be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's the way I wanted to do it. Were you thinking to do the same thing, Bloodshot? Bloodbane?
Sorry, what was that?
I said, were you thinking of doing the same thing?
I totally missed everything that was before that. Sorry.
Basically, a good idea for squad leading. You might want to contact your fire team leaders in advance and tell them how you want them to handle, what you want to give them, what kind of jobs you want them to have in relation
Yeah,
to
Roger.
What
that.
I
I'm
was
actually,
I was going a bit further, Bloodbane. I was saying that what I found works best in Arma is if the squad leader is in charge of sort of the big picture of the section, and then you have a 2IC, and they know who they are, and they do all the detailed mechanics of telling the section what formation to hold and when to form a line, and they do the fire control, because that's really their job. And I was just asking Godhand, how do you implement that in game, considering the nuances of the game and everybody gaming together? And he suggested you get a hold of them before the mission and talk it over with them and let them know what your expectations are. And you've got Matthew 75 and Jeebus as fire team leaders.
Yeah, I'm gonna think. So, I'm used to like when we did the platoon ops course, there was like a clear 2IC, and so it was like you just kind of everything that the squad leader doesn't have time for, like just be like 2IC, like you're in charge of like logistics and casualties. How do you do that with like two fire team leaders? Like, should I just split it up, kind of send one way, send one the other way?
you could just say fire team 1, you're 2IC, fire team 2, you're 3IC.
Okay.
And I think because they haven't had the training we've had. Yeah, you might want to chat with them and just at least in game or just before the game and say, "This is what I expect you to do. Are you okay with that?" And get them to step up. And I'm going to try to get Tassel to be like 2IC.
I have a question there. We have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Weapon Squad. Each section has Fire Team 1 leader and Fire Team 2 leader. But Weapon Squad has Team Leader Javelin, Team Leader Gunner, Team Leader Gunner. So you're basically having 4 team leaders?
Yeah.
It's because weapons teams are always a little more independent, because a lot of times they get detached and attached to a squad or something. So you need someone with the authority to actually, tell, like, if he's attached to a squad or whatever, and they're like, you don't want 2 privates who don't know anything and don't have any authority to be in charge of like one of your most powerful weapons, like Javelin or a 240.
Exactly. Actually, there's a normally expectation that the guys you put into your weapons section, those are the most competent soldiers you have, because you need them to know what their weapons are doing and how they can best influence the fight. So when I was the MP3 gunner, I was basically expected to know what the platoon leader's plan was and how to best help him out by moving that MG around myself. So weapons teams are usually in real life pretty independent, but in game I'm going to use you guys as a support element. So I'm going to be having you together in the best fire position I can find for you guys, basically.
UO has run some really good courses using machine guns. And if you work as a team, the machine gun can be really effective.
Oh, yeah.
And the clan that I was with before this, a community that I gained with, a British community, that's the way we trained all the time. Is even the AR gunner, we were always in pairs. And one person was spotting and directing the fire and then providing security. And the other guy, all he had to do was shoot, lay down fire, pin.
Okay.
And I think that's the theme, the way it's structured here, is that's why you have a team leader, is you want to be dedicated to that javelin gunner, you want to be dedicated to that machine gunner, so that you're never leaving his side and you're providing security all the time.
I was actually trying to upload, some of you might know of Weapons X's combat leadership course. I'm trying to upload it into channel because the end of that course actually has a pretty neat description of what kind of job you have as a fucking as a platoon leader, and what your job is as a 2IC, and what your job is as a fire team leader and squad leader, and etc. It's actually pretty good. So stick around for that to finish uploading, and check out the bottom slides.
Yeah, I've read that. I have that on my hard drive somewhere. It's very comprehensive. Like everything's covered, which I thought was good. Like everything that the platoon might need to do is assigned to someone.
Exactly. And actually,
yeah.
Sometimes I fail, and I tend to operate in game as though people have read and understood that, because if everyone has read and understood that, then you would never really have any problems with squad leaders versus 2ICs and stuff like that, because they would just know, okay, I'm a squad leader, this is my job, I need to do this.
Yeah.
What I find helpful to complement that, Godhand, is we actually have training where we practice it. So like when we practiced assaults and we go through the motions, we practice them over and over. I'm getting pretty, like you two are you Blood Beam, I'm getting pretty comfortable now. I know what comes next. I know what my job's going to be at the next stage. The 2IC knows exactly what he needs to do when we get to this point. And it's good to read about it and know what your description is, but then it's also good to go through it and do it the same way. And then after you get really good at that, then you can start working on putting little variations on it, just that work better depending on how the situation dictates.
Yeah, that's where some of the reality clans have an advantage over UO, is that they get to really influence their people and tell them this is the way we do it, and we will not accept any other way until you have shown us that you can do this. Anyway, I think that's it for me tonight, guys. I'll see you next Thursday.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Godhand.
Sunday at
Yeah,
least.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll see you Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Alright, Sunday, man.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
man, see ya.
Yeah, thanks, Godhand. Appreciate that.
Welcome.